Hello and welcome to another episode of the Vegans podcast. I'm joined by Jeremy, a fellow vegan, aka the fittest man of the Netherlands, a professional CrossFitter, and we're here in our super tiny. You only see it if you're watching on YouTube. So in our hotel room, because here the sound is proper. The box where you train at, it's packed. I love it. So many people want to get in shape. And that's why we sneak back in our hotel room, do it here, that the sound is proper. And I'm so happy to have you on my show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here, so I'm excited. Yes.
Nice. I asked my community on Instagram for questions, and I have a lot of questions. They're really interested in what are you doing, CrossFit, vegan CrossFit, how does that work together? So I wrote a lot of them down, and I also have some questions, so we just go through them. And the first one is because CrossFit, like my friend Jan, who's with me, he has never heard of CrossFit. No. That was the first time he has been to a CrossFit box today.
Okay.
So could you quickly explain what is CrossFit for the listener who don't know?
Yeah, of course. So CrossFit is actually pretty hard to explain to other people because it's such a diverse sport, because like there's so many aspects of CrossFit. But I will start with with the basics, and there's like they have like this saying. It is I don't know if hopefully I can remember it properly, but it's let me think.
Being fit across the board?
No. I normally it's like the center. Wait. It's functional movements performed at high intensity, and
that's it. Yeah, I heard it too.
It's pretty stupid because I forgot it now, but it's something like that. But it's like a combination of like gymnastics. So gymnastic is like body weight movements, so like a pull up or a burpee or like a push-up, air squat, so moving your own body in space. That's one aspect of it, and there's also like the strength weightlifting / powerlifting aspect. Here you need to move objects. So this can either be a barbell, or it can be a kettlebell, or it can be a sandbag, or whatever it is. And then the third aspect is conditioning. Conditioning, you can think of running, rowing, jump roping, cycling, swimming, and then CrossFit is like getting everything doing everything together, or like mixed in a WOD, and we call this WOD. It's called the workout of the day. Then all different aspects are often like merged together, and the goal of CrossFit is not like to specialize in just one of those three of them, but you have to be fit across all three of them. So the goal is actually to not specialize and be good or like be average in all three of them, because the goal is to get fit but functional fit, because they have this saying, prepare yourself for the unknown and unknowable, because you don't know what life will throw at you, because maybe one time you'll have to sprint real fast to catch a bus, or maybe one time you will have to climb a tree to, I don't know, get your cat out of it, and maybe one time you will have to lift up some really heavy boxes to move when you go moving. You don't know. It could be anything. And like, if you just only do a runner, you're good at catching the bus maybe, because that's functional. But if you never like did a pull up and you have to climb into a tree, then you're not prepared for that. Or that if you never lifted heavy objects, you're not prepared for that either. So that's not. If you only do running, for example, then you're not functional fit, because you only fit in one aspect. So that's what CrossFit is trying to do, is like prepare yourself for life. And the difference between CrossFit and fitness is like really like fitness is like how you look like, and CrossFit is really just about how you perform and if you can do something or if you cannot do something.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Fit across the board in all categories, so you're basically just prepared for life and can do everything and nothing suffers, and that is a great concept. And you're not just fit for life, but you're doing it on a pro level. You're one of the best, so you're really good at all the things. You're really strong. Your endurance is on point. Your hit endurance, high speed, your power, and also your mobility, your Olympic movements. It's like crazy. CrossFit has so many movements. Yeah. It's not like only those bench press, squat, and deadlift, but also like muscle ups or handstand walks. Yeah. And now when I watch the games, even handstand walks over obstacles. Yeah, true. It's really, but for people, day-to-day people, they don't have to do all the crazy stuff. You can scale everything down. Yeah. You don't have to. I cannot do a muscle up, even though I'm a fairly fit guy. But that's the great thing about CrossFit. You can always scale it down, so everyone can do it, right? Even your grandma, because you can scale it down.
Yeah. So like that's the cool part about it, because of course, like the people who do in competition, that's only like 1%, but maybe not. It's probably less than 1%, because CrossFit is really actually made for like the normal guy, because everyone just wants to be fit, be fit for life. And if you do a workout, I could do like the same workout with like an 80-year-old man or like just a 10-year-old kid. But we could do the same workout, but for example, we have to jump on a box. I jump on like a 24-inch box, and maybe if somebody is less fit than me, they just jump on a just a little less higher box, just on a smaller box. And for example, I have to lift 20 kilos, and somebody does the same movement but just take half of the weight. So you can still do like the same workout during these classes, and like the coach is there, of course, to help you choose the weights or choose the movements. So you can do the same workout but on your own level, and that's where this community feeling in CrossFit, like I think, comes from, because you're going through a workout together, even though I'm using maybe a little heavier weights than the person next to me. We're still getting the same stimulus, and we're still getting the same feeling of the workout. And that's, I don't know, that creates also a bond when you do these things together. So that's like the really cool part about it, that like it's for everyone and not just for the fit people. Because I think like people, if I do CrossFit first, I have to like get fit and then start CrossFit. But that's really what it's not about. It's really guys starting CrossFit, because if you start CrossFit, your coach, they will tell you what scaling option you need, and you can like start everywhere. Even though you're really overweight, you can still do like air squat, or like you can do like pull-ups with a resistant band. So yeah, this is really not just for fit people, but like for everybody.
Makes sense. That's great. So I got many questions from my community, and one, the classic one, of course, is how and why did you go vegan?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So before I did CrossFit, I did judo, and I also did the top sport judo. And of course, I was already training a lot and trying to better myself in the sport. And of course, nutrition already played a big role in that by that time. So I was really interested in eating as well as I can to increase my performance. And I always used to think there was chicken, rice, broccoli, and eggs and bacon and
classic,
and like the classic bodybuilding meals.
High protein.
The high protein. That's what I ate. All of the. That's what I fully believed was like the only way to increase my performance and to fuel me. And I did that for a long time, and of course it got me to a certain point. But because I was interested in finding the right foods, I started watching like documentaries, and like I remember the first one I watched was like Forks Over Knives. You probably know it.
I do.
And that was like the first time I heard like, oh shit, damn it, maybe these plants have are maybe even healthier for me. So that was like the first time I started looking into it, and then I wasn't convinced that easily, but because I was like one of the biggest meat eaters you could think of, because like in a weekend I was like to have like, I could go to this place where I could have unlimited spare ribs or like have like this big chicken. So I really didn't want to go vegetarian, and I barely heard of the word vegan back then. So I watched a lot of documentaries and read a lot of articles, and then also read the book How Not to Die from Dr. Michael Greger, and saw also the Cowspiracy, and saw the Earthlings, and saw the speech of Gary Yourofsky.
Oh wow! Then you're sold.
Right? Yeah. So and then I started first I started really eating plant-based because I thought I believed it could improve my performance.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually the only reason in the beginning. So I tried it out for a month, and I was like, I ate animal-based food for 20 years of my life. I don't know what it's like to be vegetarian or eating a full plant-based diet. So I tried out for a month, and I felt so good, and I felt like I was less sore, and I had more energy. I could think more clearer, and I could add an extra training in my week, because normally I was like pretty sore, and I could only like train 4 or 5 times a week. Now I could go from 4 or 5 to 5, 6 times a week, and normally I have like soreness for 2-3 days. Now I only had soreness for 1, maximum 2. So that for me was back then really the most important thing. Like, all right, I'm feeling better, so I better not go back to my old eating habits. And that's what really got me into it. And then later on, I saw like the ethical side of it as well. And now for me, that's the most important thing. But like the health part and the recovery, that's when we got me into it.
I can relate to that so much, because for me it was exactly the same. I started veganism. I thought I'd never go vegan. I just tried for months. Also because my reason why I wanted to build muscle, and now I realize it's one of the most rare reasons to go vegan, to build muscle. But I followed some vegan bodybuilders, and hey, you can recover faster. Your sleep improves. You eat more alkaline, thus you don't over acidify that fast, and all these reasons that you can train faster, more. And I said, hey, I just tried. And then when you starting doing something, you inform yourself more and more. You read about it, you watch documentaries, and then I had the same. I was like, I feel great. My skin got so much better. I built muscle. I feel great. I see it's better for the environment and the animals. Why should I go back? I feel great, and I informed myself and understood, wow, it's even healthier for me. So I feel great, it's healthier, better for the environment, better for the animals. So the biggest win-win-win concept I've ever encountered. And I was like, I stayed that way, and now it's been 5 years. How long have you been vegan for?
I'm like last week, like the day before my birthday, I decided to go vegan, and I just turned 24, and now 3 years plus
cool.
a week or so. Yeah, so 3 full years.
So, and then the question is, that was before you stumbled across CrossFit, and someone asked, how did you stumble across CrossFit?
Oh no, I already did CrossFit back then. So I started eating plant-based, and I already did CrossFit for a year or so. But I stumbled on CrossFit. So I did judo, and like I lived in a really small village, and like somebody made this challenge, like, come do this challenge. It's 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I went to that CrossFit box and did the challenge, and I couldn't, and I think I did pretty well. I mean, I know the workout was called NG. It was like in CrossFit we give workouts, we give names to CrossFit.
Yeah.
I actually got hooked from the beginning, even though I couldn't stretch my arm for a full week because I was so sore. So then I started doing it like just once a week, just to improve my judo. But because judo was still my full-time focus, But once I did judo for 16 years, and it got to a point where I started doing professionally, but a lot of things became obligated, and it was like always the same thing, and I just kind of lost the fun in doing judo. Also because all these things become obligated and
repetitive, and
yeah, and
similar.
so I know the moment I noticed that I lost the fun in it, then I was like, all right, now I need to find something new. And I was been doing CrossFit like once a week, every now and then. And because CrossFit was so diverse, had so many different aspects, that's why I really liked it. And I mean, I just started going to the CrossFit box more and more often. And then I decided to fully quit judo, and just from one day to the other, I was like in this top sport. How do you say it in English?
You mean in judo?
At like
at the pro level.
I was at pro level, and I was in a traject. Do you know?
Is it like the pro league or something, or a club, or?
Like the judo bond. They set up a program. I was like in a judo program, and then I just fully decided from one day to the other I quit judo, and I had a meeting with my trainer. I said, all right, I'm gonna quit, and then the next day I just cycled to the CrossFit box and then started doing CrossFit for like 3, 4, 5 times a week.
The rest is history.
And the rest is history.
And when was this shift?
That was January 1st, 2015.
So that was before you went vegan, right?
Yeah.
So
because I went vegan in January 2000. In November 2015. Yeah.
So it's not like all the progression you made as a CrossFitter. It's I ate animal products and that's how I could progress, and now I just stay on the same level. No, you made all your progression being on a plant-based diet in CrossFit. So that's really cool. Yeah, because many people claim like, oh, you cannot build muscle on a vegan diet, but I built all my muscle on a vegan diet. Yeah. And it's easily possible, and probably even a bit easier because you recover faster, you have many benefits, and for sure healthy in the long run. Yeah,
so I only did like CrossFit for like full CrossFit for 11 months, and since I switched vegan until now, I think I added like at least 5 kilo, at least 5 kilo. I think it's gonna be it's even more because I would now weigh like 90 kilos. Which is pretty heavy. This is the heaviest I've been. But when I started CrossFit, I was like 83 because I was judoing in the category minus 81. So I've added like I think at least 6-7 kilos.
And that is all solid muscle mass, because in CrossFit there's no room for adding fat because you need a lean body.
And all my strength numbers have gone up at least with 20-25 kilos since then as well. So. All of my gains I made in CrossFit, I made on a plant-based diet.
That's great. So then I got crazy many questions about your diet, because recovery is big in CrossFit. And to get a good overview of what you eat, could you guide us through a typical day of eating, what you eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner and snacks, or however many meals you eat, that people get an insight of what you eat on a typical day? Yeah,
so for my baseline, of course, you probably know it. It's the Daily Dozen from Dr. Michael Greger.
Sure.
So that's like really the baseline. I make sure I get it's like 24 boxes. I make sure I tick off all the 24 boxes each day.
Nice. For people who don't know, Michael Greger, he has this Daily Dozen checklist that you get all the essential nutrients in by eating 3 servings of beans, your cruciferous vegetables, your berries, your fruits and stuff. And that's the minimum you should eat every day to be safe across the board, get all healthy foods in. And that is a great guideline, and you should eat that every day. So that's good. That's cool.
So like the book How Not to Die, there in the second half of the book, they explain the plant-based diet, and that's really like I really use that as my Bible.
Yeah, me too.
For my guideline. So I really make sure I get the checklist in every day.
Do you actually check it, or you have it in your head?
No. Like the first months I checked it every day off. But now now
I
know it by head, and like I know
you do it intuitively.
Yeah, and I do it intuitively.
I do the
so
same.
I know I already had so many beans. I already had some cruciferias and my flax.
And it's really easy because the portion sizes are so small.
Yeah.
I often, we probably double the sizes, but that's just the recommended minimum. And continue.
Yeah, so indeed I probably get double the sizes, but to make sure
it reminds you eat a variety.
Yeah.
Because often you don't know what to eat, and then you just end up eating only whole grains and legumes. But what about fruits? What about vegetables?
Yep.
What about nuts? What about seeds?
Yep, indeed. So this way I eat a variety of food every day, or at least I try to. Of course, I don't check off all the boxes every day, but I do my best. I do my best as I can, and but like what would be like a typical day of eating is I start my mornings. I think also like a little bit like how you do it. Either with a big smoothie bowl.
Nice.
With some kale, frozen berries, banana, a little bit of extra protein powder, and then I blend it all together with some almond or soy milk, and then put lots of oats and nuts and flax and seeds on it, and have that, or just a big oatmeal bowl, and then with blueberries and nuts and seeds as well.
So that's it both or either?
No. It's either one of the two.
Okay.
But so I choose often like one of the two. So that's often for breakfast, and like in the.
At which time?
Yeah, it depends, because sometimes I go training in the morning, and I don't like to. When I go training, I have at least 2 hours that I don't try to eat or eat too much before training, so my body's not digesting the food, so I can fully focus on training. So I also sometimes do my training fasted, but that's like a couple times in the week. So normally like 11 o'clock or something, but not like immediately when I wake up.
Yeah.
And then for lunch, I often get like a big salad bowl at Sla. You were there yesterday, right?
Yeah. Place to be here in Amsterdam. Sla, they give you huge portions of lots of the daily dozens, like legumes, whole grains, lots of veggies, a good dressing for an affordable price. So it's a great deal.
So it's like often like a big salad bowl, indeed, with the legumes, with some grains, some seeds, and like a nice dressing. Or also with some cruciferous vegetables like broccoli as well. Or I have I make just wraps, like some they're pretty easy to make, just some wraps also with some hummus, and also cook some quinoa and put some black beans and some maize and some tomato and corn on there with some arugula, for example, and also a little dressing.
Don't forget the tahini.
Don't forget the tahini, of course. And that's often for lunch. So either big salad bowl or some wraps for lunch, or a soup, like a soup with many mixed vegetables in there. And then for dinner, I like to switch it up. Sometimes I have my salad bowl for dinner, or just a real recipe. We also have the How Not to Die cookbook from Dr. Mike Greger. Sometimes we make some recipes from there. And dinner is, of course it's always different, but I mean the base of a dinner plate is of course like at least probably like half of the plate is going to be with vegetables, and like one third of the plate is going to be some grains, some legumes. I mean, I just try to get everything from the Daily Dozen in there, and of course I try to do it in a recipe. So either it's going to be one of my favorites, like a good Indian curry, or like sweet potato oven cooked vegetables. I like as well. But yeah, that's kind of how my day looks like.
And snacks?
Snacks, fruit, like lots of fruit, and I'm really I eat like at least a couple bananas, couple apples, some kiwis. And when the watermelon season is in, I eat at least one watermelon a day.
Me too.
Or it's a lot, like lots of grapes. So yeah, like lots of fruit as snacks.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, you probably got the Daily Dozens in 3 times.
Yeah.
Super healthy.
Yeah. So
that's really
but I don't count my macros or anything, and because that's often a question I get. So I make sure I check the checklist from the Daily Dozen, and which is, I think it's pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
Of course, I get way more, and to make sure I get enough food in, I just weigh myself every day in the morning, and I know what my weight, where I want to be with my weight. So at the moment, I'm trying to bulk a little bit because I want to get stronger. So I just, if I see the scales going down, I have to eat a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's smart.
or when I just try to maintain the same body weight, I can see from day to day if I'm maintaining my body weight. Either if I'm losing, I need to eat more, or if I'm gaining, I eat a little bit less.
And what is important when you do it, that you do it under the same condition? That you do it in the morning?
Yeah, so I always do it in the morning after I went to the toilet. I'm just standing in my underpants on the scale, and that's the only time I weigh myself.
Perfect. Yeah, that's crucial, because if you weigh yourself once in the morning naked, and on another day at the evening you just ate a lot of food, you have clothing on. It
could be like a 2 kilo difference.
That's why always same conditions, and the best one is just in the morning after you went to the toilet, and that's great. So you also eat intuitively, and you just know if you want to bulk up or cut a bit down. That's great. That's simple. Nice. And sometimes you also indulge in some junk food, or
sometimes
every now and then.
Every now and then.
Mostly keep it clean.
Mostly keep it clean. Some whole food, plant-based foods. And I also try to avoid sugar and oil, of course. And
because for you, recovery is big. That's why it's important. You stay on the healthy side.
Yeah, but of course, sometimes when I checked off all the boxes, I know I eat healthy.
Yeah, you still have some calories.
I still have some. I can eat some chocolate, or like in the weekend, I still go with friends out eating to like the vegan junk food bar, have my burger, or I mean, I'm still enjoying the foods. Because it's not like I only.
But the whole foods also taste
delicious,
but
also
because if you also put them all together, know how to make a good dressing and the dip and stuff, it tastes insanely good. And for us it's great because we can eat so much. We have to eat at least about like 4,000 calories, so we can cover our nutrients and still have like 1,000 calories left to just basically eat what we want. So we get our nutrients in, and we can also eat something else. That's great. So someone asked, foods, snacks he has during competition. I've started doing some beginner competition and struggle with what to eat.
Oh yeah, that's a good question, because I've struggled with that a lot as well. So really important is that you don't have a big meal. I try to eat like 2 hours before the workout. So like, and then maybe of course you can have 1 hour before work, you have like a banana or like a small snack. Well, that doesn't affect you a lot, but so the most important thing is that you're not going to eat like something big like 30 minutes before a workout, because then it's really going to affect your performance. Because then your body is still like digesting the food and putting energy into that, while it should be putting this energy into keeping you focused and getting you ready for the workout, of course. Because if your body doesn't have food, it's like this instinct, like now I have to put on my what's it called, sympathetic system of, or what's the other, I don't know, but then your body is like, all right, now I need to get food, so I need to get active, need to get adrenaline, I need to work to get my food.
When you eat a lot, you get satiety and you want to lay down, you mean, and if you're digested, you're ready, you're capable, you want to move.
Yeah, indeed. So, but like it's really important to keep easy digestible foods during the competition day. So this can be like, I eat like fruits like bananas or watermelon, or like vegan bars, because these are pretty easy to digest. But I make sure in the morning I do have like a big solid breakfast, or a big oatmeal bowl or a big smoothie bowl, so I have a good base for the day. And then during the day I actually don't eat that much, or I don't eat like big things, just really small things like fruits and bars.
You can leave for the end after the competition, you can have a huge meal.
Yeah, of course, after if you have like a multiple day competition, then after you finish the day of competing, then it's really sure to get lots of carbs in, like a big meal.
So rather less during the competition than eating too much.
Yeah.
Rather some fruits here and there,
Yeah.
a bar or stuff like that, but not too much.
Yeah.
But a solid meal before and then a huge meal or
Yeah.
buffet afterwards.
Yeah, indeed.
Great. Next question is how people treat you in CrossFit world, that you're a vegan, because the CrossFit scene is often really into the paleo diet for whatever reason. So how do you get treated by your fellow colleagues and other CrossFitters that they found out you're vegan? Is it like, oh, what's up with this guy? Because you obviously perform so well, or are they open-minded, like, oh, cool, I also eat a lot of plants, or are they really against it, or what is the feeling you get of it, the vibes?
Well, actually, I heard lots of people like often get like negative response of other people who started going vegan or eating plant-based. But I think because maybe because I became fittest of the Netherlands, so in at least on the men's side, nobody was like better than me this year, even though it was really close. So if I'm like not performing well, so they would like say, yeah, you're not performing well because you're vegan, and
they cannot say this.
And now they cannot say it, so I don't hear it luckily that often. But I don't know, I don't have really a lot of struggles. Of course, you get some jokes here and there, but I'm fine with that. And I'm say like, all right, but how much do you squat? And
lead by example.
Yeah. So I just really, I don't try to talk too much about it. I just really try to lead by example. I just try to do my own thing and let my results speak for itself. And because I think for me, that's where my strength is. I'm not really good speaker or tell them or like
convince them,
like convince them, like talk. I just really try to try to do my own thing and just let my results speak for myself.
And that often has the biggest impact.
Yeah.
That they see, whoa, he just does it. He's that fit. That's great. And then why do you think so many CrossFitters are not vegan? Because they do everything possibly to improve their recovery. Jump into ice bath, supplements, deep tissue massage, mobility, but not a plant-based diet which is proven to be the most effective in reducing inflammation. So why? Sorry? So the room, someone knocked. Can you check? So, but don't bother.
I think because CrossFit also has his guidelines for what to eat. Because CrossFit tells you need to eat meat, vegetables, nuts, seed.
Where does this come from? This paleo guideline that it's so is it?
They teach it. If you want to be a CrossFit trainer, you have to do this level 1 course.
Yeah,
it's like a weekend where you get where you learn how to coach CrossFit, and there they also coach the nutrition side, and there they tell you that you have to eat meat, nuts, seeds, vegetables, but like meat is like the first word. So that's why all the coaches tell their members that you need to eat meat, probably. So that's why it's so heavily in the CrossFit world, because like everybody who's coaching CrossFit, they did the level 1 course, and there they got told that that this is the way. And
the question is, who wrote this guideline?
Yeah, and the one who wrote this guideline is probably it's like I don't know. I think it's the founder of CrossFit. That's called Greg Glassman. But
okay, and then it just develops because people often don't have much knowledge when it comes to nutrition, and they make this course, and you have to eat a lot of meat, and all their clients you have to eat a lot of meat, and then this becomes so paleo.
Yeah, but and of course, it's not like it's because now the top CrossFit athletes they all eat this paleo. I don't know if they eat paleo, but they eat.
They don't eat like paleo low carb. They eat a lot of carbs because otherwise they couldn't survive those trainings.
They eat lots of carb, but they also eat lots of meat.
Yeah.
And that's what, if you see like the top
yeah,
dudes
that's true.
Eat like this way, then you think, all right, this is the way, which I can fully understand because that's how I thought it as well.
Yeah.
And I just want to try to show the people that it is also possible this way. So you can also perform well on a plant-based diet,
if not even better.
If not even better, and that's what the people have to make up for themselves. But like that's what I'm trying to achieve with my results in the sport, just to show them that it is possible to perform well on a plant-based diet.
Yeah, that's why it's so important what you do, because there are not many vegan CrossFitters out there performing on your level.
No, but there are coming more and more and more.
And that just shows how good vegans can perform, because how many vegans are out there, like the population 2-3%, and still, because we're only that small minority, 2-3%, we still perform at a top level compared to the 97, 96 or 8 or something percent. So that just shows how great we can perform. So yeah, it's important what you do. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, and there are coming more and more vegan CrossFitters.
That's great.
At least what I know about it. So that's really a good progress.
That's great. What are you doing for preventing injuries in terms of training as well as nutrition?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because in CrossFit or like in any sport, it's all about long-term progress and like being consistent year after year after year. And if you go like real hard for a couple weeks and then you get injured, then you're not making consistent progress. So what the most important part is, but which is also a skill you need to develop is you need to listen to your body. It's like your body is telling you if there's something not right, and if it needs rest, or something is like itching, then you really need to learn to listen to your body. And the hardest part in this is you need to learn to put your ego on the side, because many CrossFitters, especially in the beginning, they want to start with like heavy weights and like move up in weight quickly, even though they're not mastered the basics, the skills on how to move weights. So if you want to stay injury free in the beginning, it's like so important that you put your ego aside, learn the basics, learn the movements, and then slowly but slowly you can increase the weights. But because if you have the technique, then the weights will come itself. But people want to go so fast in the beginning, and like skipping technique over intensity, and that's when people get injured. And of course that's what the coach is there for, to tell the members, no, you're not using this weight, you have to go 10 kilos lighter, because then you can still maintain proper form. So it's not like if you do CrossFit, that CrossFit is more likely to be injured. That's only if you have a bad coach. But what I do, so I really try to listen to my body, and sometimes it's just good to take a day off, because sometimes you need a day off to take one step back, to take 2 steps further again. So I really try to listen to my body. I try to warm up properly. I try to foam roll and massage myself really with a lacrosse ball foam roll, or I have also this massage device, or
this machine.
This machine which like drills your muscles.
Is it pleasant or does it hurt?
No, it's actually pretty pleasant. I have it here with me. You can try it out later. So warm up properly and use proper technique. That's so important, and it's so important that you make every rep look the same. And like we talked about when we were training, for example, when you do a set of squats, you should always have to make a set and then stop. Even though you have 1 or 2 reps, you could easily make 1 or 2 reps. Because often if you go like to complete failure, like your last reps, they're not looking clean and they're not doing much for you, because if you make reps with bad form, then that's going to be where you are going to go when it's heavy.
That's so important.
And that's so important. The RPE skill is really important.
Some reps in the tank with proper form, because muscle failure, the rep before muscle failure is almost impossible to keep proper.
Yep.
And then the form suffers, the risk of injury is really high, and thus injuries happen this way. So keep some reps in the tank, and all reps should be proper. And that's how you make progression. Always, not only in CrossFit, but weightlifting, every sport, always form above weight. Always learn the proper form and progress with proper form. That's how you stay injury free. That's how you train the right target muscles and everything. So that is really important. As you said, leave the ego at the door, and then that's how you stay injury free.
Yeah, so indeed, quality over quantity is key. Putting your ego aside, and in terms of volume, you don't want to increase your volume from one training to the other training by more than, like, you aim for 10%, but maximum 20% volume from training to training. Because if you have also a peak in volume, even though you make proper reps, but you make really a lot of them, then the injury risk also goes up, of course.
And in the nutrition side, you just eat a healthy whole food plant-based diet, lots of antioxidants, phytonutrients, and thus you boost your recovery.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. So I want to ask you, favorite pre-workout? So you use smoothie bowl or you
so morning, it's often
right before?
Like indeed, so I have like a couple hours before I have my smoothie bowl or my oatmeal bowl. But often the times I don't eat. Sometimes I do. So I also told you that I also don't eat sometimes.
Yeah.
But if my favorite pre-workout.
You drink coffee?
Yeah, sometimes, not a lot. Like
no?
Really, sometimes I do coffee, but which helps also. But I do use like creatine and beta-alanine, but it's not like really a pre-workout.
So often no caffeine.
So sometimes a coffee,
but not always.
Yeah, or just a banana if I feel my energy is a little bit low.
So you can just perform, just water, no caffeine. You could just go. Cool,
yeah,
that's the way to go.
Yeah, but like in the summer, it's like watermelon is my number one. Yeah. Because it's really important that you stay hydrated during the sessions, so that's most important.
What supplements do you take, and what would you recommend are like the essential health-wise and the ones that make sense to take regarding CrossFit?
Yeah, so let's start with the health side. So I take a couple of them. One is vitamin B12, because if you eat a plant-based diet, vitamin B12 is just the one nutrient you need to supplement, and it's like real easy. I take it once a week, just one small pill, and so that I have that. Then next to it, if you like sweat a lot, if you lose lots of minerals because you have high intensity training and also lots of volume, then I take also magnesium, some extra magnesium, to fill those up. And also because Dr. McGregor also advised, like, you get your omega-3s from walnuts, from flaxseed as well, but it wasn't sure if there was enough, so I also take some omega-3 from algae, algae, right? And then lastly, so we got the B12, magnesium when I sweat a lot, and algae also regularly, and then lastly vitamin D, yeah. Especially here in Netherlands, in winter there's not a lot of sun. In summer there is sun, but not a lot as well. So I try to take that as well, because if you don't get your 20 minutes of sunlight during the day, that's like the minimum you need. Then you get deficient.
Winter, the ultraviolet index is not even high enough, so you need to supplement.
Indeed. And even if the winter you do get 20 minutes of sunlight, you don't get the vitamin D, because what you said?
The ultraviolet index is not high enough because the sun, it's not from above, it comes from the side, because the globe turns away from the sun, so we cannot get it. We should supplement where we live here. And supplements, so that's the essentials. And regarding CrossFit?
And regarding CrossFit, so I do take creatine, because normally you also find this in meat, and especially
but not much. That's
but
why
not
most
much.
people take it.
Yeah.
You take like 3 to 5 grams.
Yeah,
probably.
like, yeah.
And if you want to get that by eating just meat, you have to eat kilos of meat. So it's basically impossible.
Yeah.
That's why everyone should take creatine who is into weightlifting.
Yeah, indeed.
Because it's a supplement that really is proven to work. That you can burst out 1-2 more reps.
Yeah,
because
indeed.
You're
So creatine I try to take regularly, and sometimes also when I'm going into competition, like it's called beta alanine. You heard about it?
Yeah, it's
So
I don't take it because I don't do endurance. But if you do endurance, like over 12 reps or something, it can also make sense.
Indeed. So if you in CrossFit, it's all about making as many reps as you can, and if you need to sometimes you need to make a set of 20 reps, and beta alanine can then, at least that's what it says, like can help you like rep out, just go a little bit more deep into fatigue and make one.
It's
so
like creatine but for higher reps.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. That's what it is. So those two, and then after workout, when I don't have like a quick food or don't have food, then I just take plant-based protein.
Nice.
Yeah, from this one sponsor I have. And
that's it? Keeping it simple?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's not like some... just those 3. And lots of water and watermelon to stay hydrated.
Yeah. And then someone asked, how do you structure your training? Do you just go to regular WODs and do some random class workouts, or do you structure your own training?
Yeah, so in the beginning, when I had to learn the sport, I went to classes, because there you have a coach. He's going to teach you the movements, and because if you don't know all the movements in CrossFit, it's really hard to do like follow a program for yourself or like follow an online program. So that's what I started with, but eventually I started programming for my own, because I found out what my weaknesses are, and I'm also a CrossFit coach myself now for like 3-4 years, so I know how to make a CrossFit program by now, and I do that also like now a little bit intuitively. Like in the beginning of the week, I set out like Monday do this, Tuesday do that, Wednesday that, and then but sometimes when my body isn't feeling it, or I feel like I haven't recovered yet, then because I now program for myself, I can just it's okay to skip it, because I'll do it the next day, and this way I stay injury free. I think
so you're really in tune with your body. You listen to your body doing it intuitively, and not like push through and then you injure yourself. Don't make the numbers plateau. So
indeed. So I also study it's called sports sciences and wellness, sports sciences and wellness. So there in my study I also learn a lot about movement and programming as well, so that has helped me a lot as well. But like making consistent progress year after year, like you don't have to make big progress in 1 month. It's not about going hard in the gym every time, because you can only go hard. I go hard in the gym, I think once, twice a week. All the other times of the week I do my workout, but I do it at 80-90%. So I leave something in the tank for the next day. Because if you go to the gym and you go all out, you can do that for 3 weeks, but then you're mentally and physically
your central nervous system is just overstressed, and you just get sick. You just can only lay down. You plateau. You fatigue. You get weaker. You injure yourself. So that's really smart. Not having this mentality, all or nothing, and don't be a pussy, and just train smart is so important, and always think long term, not just giving it all in this one workout. No. What about tomorrow? What about the week? What about the months? Where do I want to go in 1 year? So that's why I always keep something in the tank, and that's great. That is really important. So a tip would be that you don't have to go 100% every time you go to the butt training. Make sure you focus on your movement, you focus on your technique,
And of course you can still get some intensity, but don't make sure you do it more than 3 times in a week, because then it's already 3 times already on the high side for me.
And all pro CrossFitters, they structure their own training or have their own coach, right? They don't just attend normal WODs. These normal WOD classes are just for the people who don't want to be pro.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, the normal classes, they
Get you started?
They get you started, and that's really important. And if you're just in CrossFit to get fit and to just
what most people are,
what 99% of people are, then that is perfect, because you're like training together, you're motivating each other, you're in a community.
You don't have to worry about what to do, you just go there.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about what you do. You have a coach looking after you. So then that is like the most important thing. Then the classes are like perfect. But indeed, if you want to do competitions and you come to a point where you mastered all the skills and have the right technique and you are able to train by yourself, then you can think about following either an online program or have a coach making program for you, or maybe start writing your own program and work on your weaknesses that way. But first you need to learn the basics, of course.
Someone asked, what is his favorite WOD and favorite exercise? Do you say WOD or do you say WOD?
No, we say what.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your favorite WOD and your favorite exercise?
Yeah, that's hard. There are so many. Let me think of it. I think the most classic workout there is, it's called Fren. Maybe you heard of it? It's like,
sure, classic.
Yeah, it's like 2159 of pull-ups and thrusters, so squat and
what is it, 2159?
Yeah,
okay.
Of squats and it's like a squat with a push press. It's called a thruster, plus pull-ups. And because I used to do judo, and judo was like only 3-4 minutes, you go all out. And like this type of work is also, you only go like 3 workout only takes like 3 minutes, you go all out and then you're on the floor like gassed. So I like those movements, but I also like running, like just doing a 5K. But I have like many, actually I love all of the sports, so
that's great. So
it's not like one particularly job, because I really like one day I really like to lift heavy, and the next day I like that I also can go to the track and do my running session over there. And then, for example, I can also go to a boulder gym hall and do like grip training over there. Because it's so diverse, I like the diversity of the sport, and it's not just one thing. Of course, I have some favorites. Of course, I like squats way more than presses, because squats are easier for me than presses. But that's just my strengths and weaknesses.
Nice. Yeah, that's how it should be, that you like them all, because you have to do so many different exercises, and you have to do them, and you should enjoy doing them. Someone asked, can you do CrossFit full time, or do you have also another job?
You could do CrossFit full time, and there are people who do it. I don't think there are a lot of people doing it, because
like the pros on the top, right?
Like,
they have big sponsors,
like the individual CrossFit Games athletes, and even not all of them, because in CrossFit there at the moment you're not able to make lots of money like you do in football. So it could be possible, but I don't do it yet because I'm still a student. I'm now finishing my last year of my school, and now working on my final internship and my thesis. So still there goes some time into it. I'm still like coaching multiple times a week, and I'm training. So for me at the moment it's like school, work and training. Of course I would like to move to the point where it's like training and a little bit of work, and hopefully school is over next year. But then still, you cannot train all day. You really need something else also to take your mind off, and because if training is the only thing and it doesn't go well, then you're gonna have a hard time when it doesn't go well, and it's also nice to have some focus on something else as well.
Nice. We're already coming to the end. So to get it, you besides CrossFit
Light maybe?
Oh yeah, it gets so
Yeah, it's getting dark
out here. You want to turn the other lights on? Yeah, that's unfortunate. The winter, it's rough. It gets dark at 5. It's depressing. You do CrossFit and you also coach at the same box and do personal training and still finish your university, which you're done next year.
Yeah, I'm done in July. Yeah.
Then it's just coaching and your
training.
Own CrossFit.
Yeah, indeed.
Do you have another passion that has nothing to do with CrossFit? Solving Rubik's cubes, painting, or playing chess?
No, I like to go for walks just in nature, but it's but of course it's still something active. No, it's not like some crazy hobby I have next to it, because coaching, training, and study
full time
already takes all of my time.
Okay, so one of the last questions is, what are your squat, deadlift, snatch, and clean and jerk PRs? Someone stuffs to know.
Okay, so my deadlift PR is 240 kilos.
Wow.
But that's already from last year, and actually I never tried higher, so maybe I got 250, I think. But I never tried it, so 240 it is.
Crazy.
Then my back squat is 195 kilos.
Wow.
And I'm really, really hoping to get the 200 real soon, because I've been on 195 so now for a bit now, so hoping to get 200 soon. And bench press, pressing was always a weakness for me, so I 130 I hit 130 kilos I hit easily last month, but then I tried to PR and do 140. I just barely missed 140, so maybe it's 135, but 130 is the highest I did ever. And then snatch is my biggest weakness within CrossFit. Snatch and pressing are my two biggest weaknesses. Snatch, I snatched 110 kilos, which is pretty good, but not as good as I need to be. And then my cleaner jerk is a little bit better. It's 140 kilos.
Wow, these are all big numbers. Crazy strong. Okay, now the last 3 questions I always ask my podcast guests.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yes, of course.
The first one is, what scares you?
What scares me? It scares me that if I leave this world, that I didn't leave it in a better place as I came in. So I just really want to make sure that
you have an impact,
that I have a positive impact with the things I do. And sometimes you think maybe I'm not doing enough, or I could do more, or so those are the things that really scare me, oh man, I should train harder, because man, there's still so much negativity in this world, and I just I need to do more. So that's the things that sometimes really scare me. And then the second thing, which completely something else, is needles. I'm so afraid for needles. I didn't have any how do you say, a needle close to me for the last couple of years. So needles and the first thing I said.
Okay. Best advice you've ever received?
Best advice. Yeah, I mean, is it training wise or just
everything?
Everything. Let me think about it. I got many advices.
Just one that comes to your mind right now, what has impacted you positively?
Yeah, so because we're still talking training, the advice I got there was was like what we're talking about. It's like that you shouldn't go all out every day. It's like it's all about the long-term progress and like taking it day by day and leave something in the tank for the next day. So that was like really good advice I got within training.
And it's so easy to say, but sometimes really hard to do, especially for guys.
Yeah.
So many guys I see train way too hard, and a big part in for me, while I didn't do progression, I plateaued, was that I just trained too much.
Yeah.
And when I took a step back, built in deload weeks, not training until muscle failure all the time, I got strong and strong over time.
Yeah.
But it's easy, hey, do less, but actually doing it, it's tough. But when you do it, you benefit of that.
Because you feel like you're training less hard, but that's what's going to get you to the next level.
Yeah, think long term, that's great. Last question. What is the future of veganism?
What's the future? Well, actually, I'm always positive minded, so I think it's gonna grow year by year, day by day, and I think we're gonna see like veganism going mainstream, like that like over the half of the population is gonna go vegan. And things gonna happen the same thing like what happened to cigarettes. Like everybody knows cigarette smoking is bad for you, but of course you still have people who smoke even though they know it's not good for you. So there will always be some people who still smoke or still eat meat. But I think, I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I'm sure that it is gonna happen, that veganism is gonna go mainstream. Yeah.
That's great. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic too. Thank you for having me, for being on my show, and for taking the time to answer those questions. That was great. I think many people get a much deeper insight into what CrossFit is and how it works and how you do it, because many people still don't even know what it is.
No.
And I'm really proud of what you do, that you be such a great example, that you can be a vegan CrossFitter on a top level, and I hope we see more and more, and that you inspire many more to start CrossFit on a vegan diet, and that they perform well as well. And your goals next year, CrossFit Games 2019, you started team, right?
Yeah, so this year I went to the CrossFit Games with a team, and the goal is for 2019 still to also try to qualify with a team, because this time I can go together with my girlfriend in a team, and that would be, of course, a nice experience to share. She's also vegan, and so the next year team, and then the year after 2020 or 21, then it's going to be the goal to qualify individually for the CrossFit Games.
That's great. I'm stoked to see that and follow you. And where can people follow you to see that?
I do mostly of my stuff just on Instagram. Follow me at Jeremy Reijnders, just my name.
All right. His link in the show notes down below. Thanks for being on my show. And yeah, I'm excited to follow you. And guys, you should too follow his journey. He will become the fittest man, not only of the Netherlands, but of the world, baby. Let's go. Thanks for listening. Until next time, peace out.